Live? Check, check, check. If you're listening to the sound of my voice, then you're now tuned in to chapter 50 of the Introverted Intuition podcast. My name is Jeff. Usually after you hear me introduce myself, you hear Michael, but apparently he texted me and said he's not going to come through, but I never got the text, so he's skipping out on work, but that's cool. Today I'm joined by a podcast I got introduced to through the network's Instagram, and then I did my research and listened to a few episodes today, and actually when I first got introduced to it, when I saw it on the Instagram. And I thought it was a very interesting show, very unique. The topics of discussion is mainly like sex. Would I say that's
right.
true?
That's right. Yes, sir.
Okay. we don't really talk about sex on our show because two dudes is talking about sex is just weird, I feel. I'll let y'all introduce yourselves. I can't do y'all justice, I feel.
I'm going to let the ladies go first.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Lainey.
I'm Coco Riley.
And I'm... God, your boy. Shakespeare, Rock IT. You already know, for the Shake 'Em Up podcast. We right here, Introvert. What's up, brother?
Thank you. Yo, y'all don't even strike
Thank
me
you
as
for having
introverts.
us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
thank
Y'all don't strike me as introverts at all.
Really?
Nah,
Well, I definitely identify. I don't know about Lainey and Shakes. I don't think they do.
I guess because y'all know each other and y'all so comfortable with each other. Maybe that's why I take it that way. But
Right.
y'all come off the complete opposite to me.
No, that's good, right?
I mean, I guess, perception is everything sometimes.
Word.
I tend to be a little quiet. Sometimes you'll hear on the show, like I'll add my 2 cents, but then after a little while, depending on what they're talking about, I'll just be like, yeah.
That's right,
You know?
Coco.
I think my partner Michael is too introverted because I'll be talking to him. He's just staring at me. And I just be like, yo, can you add something to the conversation?
My
Where is
favorite,
Michael?
my favorite saying from yours on the show is, "I literally just said that." Like you'll say something to Michael, and then like he'll be like on something else, maybe thinking of his next thought or something, and like not tuned in, and I literally just said that.
No, that's
my
real
favorite.
life. Not when the microphone's not even here. That's literally
That's
real
literally
life.
a catchphrase, I think, for your show already. I believe. Yeah.
I should get that on a T-shirt. Get some
Yeah.
money off that.
Yeah, I literally just said that.
I appreciate you even knowing that. Damn, cool. So Shake 'Em Up podcast.
Yes,
how
sir.
did it start? Whose idea was it? How did y'all even meet?
Matter of fact, it was my idea.
Okay.
I was talking about it for 2 years. Talking about I want to make my own show, my own TV show, my own radio show. I said, listen, right now everybody's doing the podcast. It's a great platform. I know Coco Riley on my left since we was 15 years.
Well, since he was 14.
14,
and I
right?
was 12.
You was 12.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And
so.
then she told, so I started the show with another young lady named Charlie Angel. Shout out to her. So I came through together with Coco. She brought Lainey. So that was
Because Lainey and I had talked about for a while, same thing about 2 years, talking about doing our own podcast. So
that's
Okay.
right. So talk about entertainment, sports, comedy, actors. Love to do skits.
Sex.
We want sex.
Sex.
We would love to talk about sex. We're gonna talk about sex tonight. You know me. I got a little.
Okay, yeah. Maybe I could give some advice to some people who's not sexually trained as maybe y'all might be.
I'm very
I find
experienced.
it funny because I don't think our show is like based on sex. Like I find it, I don't know. I'm sitting here like, damn, is our show really based on sex? Do we talk about sex a lot?
I mean,
I don't think y'all talk about it like every episode. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
But I just know that's been present a lot in each episode I heard. At least one segment.
I try
there's
to
some
keep
sex
it.
in
I
it.
try to keep it balanced.
Yeah.
Just keep it interesting for the ladies and fellas. So all of us in dating and relationships, everybody's talking about that. But I want to talk about the experience. Talk about the threesomes. talk
Back to
about
the sex.
talk about
Back to the
everything.
sex.
Well, okay. We'll take it a little slow.
Yes, sir.
Were y'all immediately on board when he brought the podcast to y'all? Like, did you be hesitant at first?
No. Kim hit me up once. I think it was like a Sunday. She was like, "Oh, my friend's doing this podcast. I think me and you have talked about it. Just come in and just listen to it and see what you think." And I was just like, "Okay, cool." And I was just like, "No," because I am an introvert. Like I would have all these ideas, and I would really just stay. Like I think I'm an INFJ, and I would just like stay in my head and just play in my own playground. So it took a lot out of me to just be like, "All right, Kim, I'm gonna come meet you."
Yeah.
Word.
And then when I heard the show, I was like, "You know what? Fuck it. Let me just put myself out there."
I think after a while, it took me like maybe 10 episodes to realize the mic is not really anything. It's just there.
Yeah.
Right.
We're just talking. But that's okay. So how long have y'all been doing it? Like a year? Like 2?
We've been doing that, for 4 months now, 4 or 5 months.
Oh, so you started
So
this
just-
year?
yeah.
Yes, we are amateurs.
So
but
amateur.
we are excellent amateurs. We love to tell stories, crack jokes. It's not an effing game.
Word.
So,
You'll be amateur. Be the best one you could be. God damn it.
exactly.
Be
We were
excellent.
passion. I like it. So
I appreciate the energy because I feel like we're like real monotone sometimes and
Right.
awkward, but y'all came here ready to go, so I really appreciate that.
Oh,
We
no
came to shake
problem.
them up.
Shake them up.
Exactly. We
The
shake 'em
name is
up.
just short, just came from you, I guess.
Exactly, because you know my mother gave me the name Shakespeare, Shakespeare Thomas. So, for 39 years to 40, how old am I now?
40.
40. For 40 years now,
Okay.
you know, I gotta show ID for the name. They don't believe me. It's my my government name. If I'm in a club, girls be like, "Oh, that's your Mac Daddy name. Show me what's your real name?" I say Shakespeare.
They asked for your ID.
Exactly. So I show it, then it's over. You know, icebreaker. You know, take them home. Nope, no, I didn't mean that. But shake them up is awesome. I got a good team. Laney, I got Coco. You know, honorable mention with Christian Bliss and Charlie. I want to come together and just make it pop, just like you know. Your show, you're putting something together. I like what you're doing over here. I want to know about
Appreciate that.
what was that story? Somebody jumped out the plane the other time? Who
Yeah,
jumped out the
Michael, he
plane?
went skydiving.
Michael, look.
Michael's not here to tell the
He's
story.
not
though.
here. Trash story. It was a terrible story.
Wow.
But go listen to the episode. Go listen to the episode.
I will do.
So how did y'all get with Gotham? Did y'all just Google and just happen to find out about the Gotham studio?
I found Gotham. I did. It came down to 3 options. Gotham had a good menu, a good proposal for me. I like it. Shout out to Gotham Podcast, Matt and Brianna.
And I'm assuming y'all trust his vision because y'all still stick around each time you record, right? Or not fully? Do you have your own
He's
ideas?
very collaborative.
Yeah, he's collaborative. Yeah, it's a joint effort.
Do y'all want to see some changes in the show, or what do y'all? What's y'all goals for the
I
show?
like to,
I think
yeah.
moving forward is going to be not like a big change, but slight changes, just the outlines and overall content.
Just
So,
growing.
Yeah, just
We're
growing.
gonna grow.
Okay.
We're toddlers right now. We're gonna
Yeah,
be.
because we're still getting
gonna
used
grow
to
up
everything,
soon.
so we're still like trying to not find our footing, but
Get a groove.
get a
Nice
groove
rhythm.
going, like
Come
a real,
together.
Yeah, and
Sometimes
come
we
to-
don't see eye to eye, but
Yeah, because some of the questions he would ask, and me and Coco would just be sitting there like, "Guy, we're not answering that. Like, no, next question."
I got
We
to
won't
hit you
even
with a juggler.
entertain it.
I got to hit you with a
sometimes.
juggler. You know what I mean? I got to
We're
know
like,
these
next.
questions.
Yeah, no, we get it.
I'll try to get y'all some good questions, and I think I did pretty good today.
So far, so good.
So what are y'all back? Like, are y'all from New York? Y'all all from?
From New York.
Well, originally, yeah.
Or
born and
where that
raised.
specifically? Shout rep your hood right quick.
Flatbush, Brooklyn, Laney.
I was born and raised in the Bronx, live in Queens.
Okay.
I'm from a small island. A small island called Port-au-Prince. It's called
called Haiti.
Haiti. Haiti.
Gotcha.
So shout out to Haiti. A big Haitian right here. Sac passé.
Yeah.
Ma boule.
Oh, I forgot to start. I forgot to say, rest in peace, Aretha Franklin, man. That
That's
hurt my
right.
heart,
That's
man.
absolutely.
Queen of soul, right there.
Shout out to her. She's a icon.
Did y'all have any Did y'all listen to her music at all, or were y'all into her?
Growing up, I would always hear it. Yeah.
But it didn't really affect you
No,
like
it
that.
definitely did. It was just like she was just one of the great singers that you looked up to and admired. And when you heard her sing, you'd stop and listen. Like you commanded attention.
It bummed me out, and that was I was raised on mostly R&B and jazz, and Aretha Franklin, her music was always very prevalent in my life at a young age, and that really just hurt me. And then I'm scrolling down the timeline, I see more Kanye fuck shit at like Two Chains wedding or something like that, wearing some flip flops.
Right.
It's just like, what kind of world are we living in nowadays?
Right.
I don't know. What was your favorite Aretha Franklin song?
I was just playing it. Let me find it right quick on the way here. Actually,
Shake 'em up.
1 second. Here we go again, off the A Rose Is Still a Rose album.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Good choice.
So how do y'all feel about the current climate of just how the world is today? Like with all this, the racism's on an all-time high, the ignorance is on an all-time high. Does that affect y'all personally? Are y'all even tuned into what's going on, like mostly, or do y'all just check out, let the news cycles go and pass you by?
Very much tuned in. Very much tuned in. I use discernment now when it comes to everything that's going on in the world because you can get depressed paying attention to everything that's out there, every news outlet, especially if you're like empathic. Like it's just draining sometimes. So I'm very much tuned in, but I use discernment now, moving forward with everything I hear. And I do feel like it's an 11 year, so I feel like everything is happening the way it's supposed to happen.
So you believe everything, all this is meant to happen? We were supposed to get Trump as a president. He was supposed to separate families and all that.
On some level, I feel like with everything going on, there is a certain there's certain rules in place that everybody forgets. There's certain spiritual laws and karmic things in place that have to happen. And I feel like 2018 is that year where a lot of things is happening that just have to happen.
How was 2018 going for y'all personally? Have y'all accomplished any goals for yourselves? I mean, besides starting the show, go one by one, I
That's
guess.
a big goal right there.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a bartender. I've been doing bartending 15 years.
You're probably killing it.
Did you?
Sound effects and all.
Well,
You get all the tips.
well, you know, a man of my stature, I do what I do. I love to talk to people. I'm a people's person.
Word.
Going back to what you were saying, I'm gonna use Travis Scott, for example, for his new video. Is like, don't think you're God. Everybody think they God, and in the end, right? No,
No, go ahead, go ahead.
right? Because Travis Scott, he was trying to say, long story.
Mm-hmm.
You think you're God when the real black Jesus come out, the God comes, he got you. Now he got you as a goat because you wanted to be a goat,
Word.
right? Because Travis Scott's talking about, okay, boom, I'm better than everybody. I'm be on top of my dragon, slaying everybody.
That video was a little out there. He did
Was
one
it?
too many drugs before
Was it? Yeah,
setting that
but-
up.
yeah, I think me too.
But she identifies with it.
Right? Yeah,
think,
I feel that. I like Travis Scott. I felt that video. He got a great album about it.
This might sound a little bit ignorant, but I don't know. Just lately, I don't feel like godly, but just as a black man in America, I'm still alive. I'm doing my thing. I feel like I'm trying to push the culture forward in my own way, and I think I'm making an impact in some way. But
Right.
I just feel just powerful nowadays. Yeah, y'all don't really feel. Y'all don't walk around and just feel like I don't know, just more than what you really are sometimes.
Of
like,
course.
Yeah, at times I wish I felt it more.
Yeah.
But I guess it's just about channeling it and
Mhm.
understanding when you're in that space what you need to do to maintain that, that powerfulness, that feeling of, I can get through it, I can do it. Because, for me personally, sometimes it when it's there, it's great, but then keeping the momentum of it is hard for me. Especially when being empathic, like Lainey was saying, absorbing things that are around you and knowing what to internalize to take a lesson from
Yeah.
it versus
Feel that
discard it,
energy.
get rid of that shit. You know what I mean? Don't
Yeah.
absorb too much because it's doesn't do you any good.
I just pay attention to the fact that like white people like they fear us in a way, and that kind of fuels me a bit because it makes me feel no, I'm doing something or we're all doing something as a collective to make them feel that way. So
Shaking it up.
yeah, shaking them up.
Shake 'em up.
Oh
You're shaking
shit.
You're shaking them
See,
up
it
right
always
now.
comes back.
Because
Everybody
this
gotta
has been
shake
like
it
a
up.
certain awakeness that's been happening for the past, let's say 5 years maybe, where
Yes.
people are just becoming more into their godlike higher self. So I do feel like everybody is starting to wake up. Now, what you do with the wake up, because you can wake up tomorrow and then fall asleep Wednesday, and then, because it is a constant struggle to stay woke.
Word.
It's more than just feeling like, oh, I'm woke. I'm going to do this. I'm going to support black business. It's more than just doing that. It's a whole, and you have to really push the whole community forward. But the thing with our culture is the community doesn't really want to listen sometimes.
You feel it's mostly like an ego type thing, like
It is very much ego. I feel like a lot of people have to figure out when to use ego and when to be humble. Because everything has a place. There's a place and time to tell somebody, like, yes, I am that bitch. And there's a place and time to be meek and be like, do you need help? Can I help you?
Right.
What can I do to make your life a little better?
Hmm.
And I feel like a lot of people stop thinking about that. A lot of people lack compassion right now.
oh, yeah, definitely.
So
a lack
as
of
where you
empathy
have
as
a
well.
lot of people are woke, they're still missing that compassion factor, because now you have a whole bunch of woke people saying, well, I'm this and I'm that, and you need to eat this and you need to be vegan because I know the right way. But not having compassion, like, okay, you're a little different than me, so let me try to see your side of everything, and you try to understand mine. How can we push this in the middle? How can we find middle ground?
So more understanding, possibly an ego death, a collective ego death for the world
Yes.
would probably heal the planet a bit
Yeah, I mean, it sounds so cliche, but
and impossible.
and impossible. But
Yeah.
you know, it's one of those things that's the impossible things that have to be done for us to really see change.
I have a question to the ladies in the room as well. With the recent like emergence of like the Me Too movement, is that like a mission for y'all to like make other women in your life, maybe possibly younger, or that to like, I don't know, be more aware of your surroundings, or like, cause these people in Hollywood, they do some creep shit, like they fucking lock the office doors with a button on,
creepy.
or just in general,
People
just
in
be,
life are creepy.
yeah, like do y'all like,
yeah.
Or how does-
Hollywood's the creepiest, but yes.
how does like this movement like inspired y'all or changed y'all or affected y'all lives, like the women empowerment and Me Too movement and all that?
Well, for me, it was funny because I've, in work situations, I've experienced it,
Mhm.
and I have a daughter, and it wasn't until the Me Too movement. It I've always been concerned about things that she may encounter, and always been wary as a parent. But it wasn't until the Me Too movement, and really, it made me kind of sit down and think, wow, these same things that I experience, as a female, as a woman, she now, as she's growing up, she's now of age, over 21 years old. She's gonna maybe has already or is I just thinking this, and I happen to say, well, let me have the conversation with her. So I'm talking to her, and she's like, yeah, definitely been hit on by managers and things like that. And it's like, she's my daughter. I know what goes on in her life, but even to have that understanding was like, oh shit, I need to, you know what I mean? Talk to her a little bit more about even that. I'm worrying about people in the street and things like that. I'm not really thinking about her one-on-one interactions, So now I'm more hyper aware of that. But so that's just another, thing to add to the list to worry about. But that's just
good
my experience.
communication is a major key.
Yeah,
for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
You gotta inform.
How has it? Okay, this may be a little bit odd, but how's it affected you? Because I know personally some men, they feel kind of fearful of how they approach women nowadays. Like, I don't know if you're single or anything like that, but do you just approach women a certain different way nowadays, or have you always respected them like that?
I respect all the ladies. I could joke around, crack jokes about the ladies, but I always love the ladies. Respect the ladies. My mama, I respect my mama. I have my daughter. She's 4 years old. Also, I have my lady. So I can't really be talking to all these ladies out there. So that's one thing. So I give her the utmost respect. Sometimes I crack jokes, but we came from a woman. The future is female.
It's a fact.
All right, Jack?
It's a fact.
So we came out of a woman, so we got to respect the woman. So I believe that's one. So I want to do the right thing for my daughter. She's a black woman coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Teach her the right way, let her know what's going on. That situation could happen to her too, so I was going to make sure, she's on point, she has all the tools, and be well educated more than her father to rule the world, to tell you the truth, Jeff.
Yeah.
It's not a fucking game.
I had to do, I feel like in my life I've never truly disrespected a woman.
Right.
But I definitely had to do some self-reflection. Like, when you're younger, I feel you do certain things. Like, I always bring up this story of when I was in middle school, and a bunch of other, the hallways were so tight and so packed, like when you're switching classes,
Right.
you could really just do whatever. And
Damn.
and middle school, not recently, but and there was always this one girl that all the guys want to go after, and they would just slap her butt or whatever.
Right.
And I did that one time, and I remember feeling real weird about it, even in middle school. And I always draw back to that moment. It was like, why would I do something like that? Would I want somebody doing like that to my daughter or my sister if I had one?
Right.
So, I don't know. I've been more aware of how I approach women and how I treat the women in my life. And I think we all need to do as a collective, honestly, because, like you said, the future is female, like my hoodie says and all that.
Yes.
We must know how to approach the female too, right? Because these days you could touch, it could be a harassment, right? It could be,
Even saying something could be harassment.
Touching
I'm sure.
without permission is wrong.
yeah, at work too. You gotta be careful how you move at work. You say hi, sexual harassment for him.
Yeah. So this is I'm not gonna really get too deep into topics yet, but one thing I just happened to scroll and see on the way here is a tape might be coming out of Donald Trump saying the N-word.
Wow.
And I'm curious if I don't know too many people who've actually been called the N-word, or if it affects them. Like, does that bother you? Do words bother you like that, like the N-word?
When I first moved to
That's a good
Queens,
question.
it was a shell shock because we had moved into this little Howard Beach area. So I was working at the Pathmark, and I think the supervisor, she a white lady, she called. I was at the register, and she called the register to ask me a question, and she was just like, "Helena, why do they call black people porch monkeys?"
Wow.
And I was on the phone like, this little bitch.
Are you kidding me?
And I was just like, I think I'm 18, and I'm just like, well, white people in the South, I guess they called us porch monkeys because when we were slaves and we were sitting, after work, we were sitting on our porch. That was our way of entertainment and relaxation. I
Right.
guess y'all just coined the phrase porch monkey. And I was 18. I'm sitting back for 5 seconds. I'm not gonna lie, my feelings was hurt. I was just like, yo, this little she really had the audacity to call me and ask me
Wow.
why people was called porch monkeys. So I have had my little bit with racism, but I feel like as I've gotten older, it just doesn't affect me as much as it did when I was younger. Because I'm starting to realize some people are just who they are because of how they was raised. So if you telling me Trump, there's a video of Trump saying the N word, I'm just like, okay, there's no shock value to that. Just like when Paula Dean had her, when she made the comment, I was just like, why is everybody so surprised? I've watched all these ladies' cooking shows. I can tell she was a Southern Confederate in her own sense. Like, I can tell she was raised where she probably did have black maids. That's how just some people's upbringing are. And it's not my place to make them make me feel bad.
Right.
So I don't think the N-word holds as much power as it used to. And I feel like a hypocrite to say it does because I use it in everyday language.
Me too.
So it's just
Hard not
like,
to.
how
hard.
can I get
Right.
so upset about a word? And I know the word, and I hate to say this because there are the generations before me, my mother and my grandmothers.
But then who can say the N word? Can the white folks say it too? They hear the
Hell
music.
no.
Kendrick Lamar say it.
Yeah.
Can his fans say it? Because there's the verse.
And I
right?
wasn't there that one fan who knew better not to
There were
who knew
two.
better
There
to
were two,
skip
yeah.
the word. So
Right.
it was just like
I think that was a test.
They got checked though. They got checked. Kendrick
It
Lamar
was a test
checked them.
case.
Yeah, he brought like a white girl on stage
Yeah.
to say. Like, I don't know what the point. I
The
think he did
N-word
that for a
was-
moment.
Right.
Kendrick seemed like he moves with integrity at times, but I think that was a bit of a moment he was trying to grab.
It's a new time now.
It's
Can they say that right now? Can they say that word?
They're gonna say it. They say it behind our backs. I feel
Yeah.
so.
that's true.
Out in public, I mean, don't say it around me because you
Right.
might get slapped. Have y'all experienced any racism, like any point in your lives, any discrimination or
Yeah,
I get
when
all
I
the
was
time.
younger,
tall
not
and
so
black.
much
nothing specific?
recently. I know my mom definitely did, just for different reasons.
I thought it was a Chicana from Mexico.
My mom was Puerto Rican, but my
Okay.
mom was it's weird amongst Hispanics. Was considered dark,
Mhm.
right? So
Right.
you do have different levels of skin tone or whatever.
That's right.
But you have just internal racism amongst races where it's
Yeah,
like
exactly.
of you're too dark, so we can tell where you're from, so you're obviously of low class and shit like that. You know what I mean? So
I feel like every
But-
culture has their own set of racism or classism.
yeah,
Yeah, it's just more prevalent in certain cultures. and
Yes.
I hope that tape does come out just so that's more examples of why people shouldn't vote for him again in November.
Jeff, who's putting the tape out? Omarosa?
I was going to ask you, how do you feel
Allegedly.
about Omarosa's take on everything?
Right.
Like, how do you feel about her revealing everything now when she sat there and
That's
worked
right.
for him for a while?
I have a few questions. First of all, what did she do to like record all that? Did she have the iPhone like under her shirt, or
It's like an insurance policy.
I
maybe
read a
on the low.
report or heard a
Right.
report that said that it was a pen, electronic
Mm.
recording pen.
Mission Impossible.
they're not doing
style.
their job at the White House then? Because I feel like they should check them, have like metal detectors in every room and stuff like that.
Allegedly, they do not. I don't know about the metal detectors. Never been there, but supposedly they have a space before they enter the situation room where they have to put all their electronic devices. Like under no circumstances would it be allowed. You can't let whatever they're discussing, out of the room. Obviously.
She
So
was a
obviously
slick
she had this. She was aware from. I don't know from jump, but at
She was
some
smooth
point
about it.
that she's gonna need to record this because the shit is a hot mess. So the normal the everyday news reports that if you listen to different newscasts across the board, you kind of can put together. They're not that organized, whatever it is. So, I mean, I'm not surprised by hearing this, but
I've never heard of Omarosa before
What?
a few years ago.
before The Apprentice. that
Yeah,
is.
even
Right.
Donald Trump, like I knew him, but I never knew like what he really did. I've always
Right.
seen him, so this is all very new to me. From what I've gathered by doing research on Omarosa, she just seems like an attention seeker. Honestly, like I feel like her putting these tapes out, yeah, it's for her some form of justice, but I feel she's constantly putting these tapes out each week now, and I feel like she's just trying to keep her name in the news
She wants to
cycle.
sell that
Well,
book.
yes.
She has
She's-
a book coming
trying
out.
to have the.
Right? She's trying to sell that book.
Yeah,
I mean, anybody that has a book would try to sell it.
Try to get the
At the
black
end of the
community
day.
as well as come back to
But,
listen,
uh,
guys. I'm
That's
sorry.
what we're talking about.
You-
Yeah.
right.
I think America really is just one big reality show, like the White House, in particular.
Yeah.
Like,
Not to excuse her, but at the same time, she had this plan. She knew
They
at some
bought the
point
White
early
House.
Yeah, that
early
was her
on
insurance.
she's gonna need to record, for insurance for herself as well as to
Try to make that money.
There you go.
But that quality was crisp of her getting fired. I'm sitting here like, yo, I'm hearing like you literally losing your job right now. Like there's no static. That was clear. So I was very confused how she didn't get caught, and I feel like she could get sued for that or arrested maybe.
They're looking into something, into trying to file some type of charges. I don't know what exactly, but
Throw them all in jail, like Donald Trump,
Yeah,
fucking
throw-
everyone.
Throw the whole thing away. Start over.
start over. Let's
Yeah.
reject this one.
A topic, a person we've discussed a lot on this podcast recently. Kanye West. I'm curious what your thoughts are on him currently. First of all, do y'all like his music? Do y'all listen to his
I
music
like
currently?
Kanye West a lot.
I like Kanye West
Like
as
him.
well. We speak about him a lot. But
How do y'all feel about his most recent antics with like the shit he said on TMZ about slavery being a choice and all that?
yeah, it was crazy what he said.
I hate
But
this conversation.
I'm not gonna get. We spoke about it enough times.
Oh, y'all
but
did?
yeah,
Okay,
it's
well,
No,
we'll
not
make-
like,
we'll
no,
make-
not like
No,
that. Not like
right.
that.
We love Kanye.
But that conversation, because
It could
I-
go left or right with it. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? It's
'Cause
really deep.
I hate to be like, oh, I get it. But,
Right.
you know, some people did jump off the boats and burn their shits down before they got to America because they didn't want to be slaves. But
Yeah.
that's just that.
W-
So
well,
I kind of understand that that comment where slavery is a choice because, but
So we America. So we sensitive,
No,
right?
it's one of those things because it's just like we can say slavery was a choice, but then it was so much freaking mental chains and mental beatdowns where it was just like either you die for something you believe in or you keep living and working for the man and trying to survive.
Damn you do, damn you,
You
don't.
don't.
Mm.
And I feel like that's what the real thing is. Damn if you do, damn if you don't. So I wasn't born back then. I didn't live that life. So I
Right.
can't say slavery was a choice because had I been there, who's to say what the hell I would have done? But I do understand Kanye, and I do feel like people have to understand that Kanye does suffer from a mental illness. And it's going to be highs, it's going to be lows, and that's just that. And I feel like when people have mental illnesses, they think differently, they are different, and their mind just works a little differently. So, I feel like we have to come with a little bit more compassion sometimes. Yes, he is an asshole, and I understand it, but I guess I just like Kanye, so I kind of try to filter through the bullshit. Like, you call a spade, but
We love his music.
I think Kanye West is creative. He's not smart. Like, he's musically a genius,
Yeah.
but as a person, I don't think he's an intelligent person. I don't know if that's a testament to him being off his meds.
Well, what makes you say that he's not an intelligent person?
Because he just speaks without doing research. He openly
Don't
said,
we all do that though? I'm cutting you off, I'm sorry.
Coco.
Don't we all do that at times? No, but seriously, don't we all do that at times?
Right,
We're
we
all
jump-
human.
we jump to
don't
conclusions?
all say the best,
but
the
he's
most-
he's openly admitted that he doesn't read. Like, he doesn't read these news cycles. And when he was asked by Jimmy Kimmel about what does he think about, like, the
Right.
separation of families, I feel like he didn't even know that was
I know
happening.
that was an ignorant
And-
thing
and
to
I-
say.
I feel like,
Ready.
and he basically was saying that he supports Trump because what I got from him, he just gathers because he likes how confident he is, how he goes against the grain and ignores everybody's bullshit. But I feel like that's it. Like, so that's surface level shit. And he
It is
doesn't.
very much so.
I feel like that's most of Trump supporters.
Yes,
I
Yeah,
feel
very
like
much
all
so.
Trump supporters don't have a reason why they support Trump other than he just did it.
exactly. And he, like, for all intents and purposes, he did do something that was kind of impossible to go from reality star with no experience to become president. But that's just not enough
But
for
he
me.
didn't do
Yeah.
that.
Well, yeah,
He
they.
was voted in by people with a lot of, I feel, misinformation.
I felt like, and I also feel like,
False hope.
America worked their way. I feel like America worked against, and I'm saying that like the American people, but the government itself. It was just like, we don't want women in there, so we'll have to take this guy.
We don't want a
Right.
minority, and we don't want a woman.
And it's just like
want a
got,
white man.
and he's it right now.
Where he's an outsider.
And he was
Just came
talking.
in.
He was talking to. He wasn't talking to diversity. He wasn't talking to building bridges. He was
Right.
talking to a very specific group
Talking
that
to
felt
the
that they
money.
hadn't been spoken to in a very long time.
The money.
And-
felt,
Yeah,
the money.
and he tapped in. I feel like to their. I feel like he gave them false hope, and they really bought into it. Like,
Because now they mad.
yeah,
They
I
pissed
feel like he
off.
gave
Slowly
them
but
promises.
surely, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I voted for Hillary, of course, but I feel like I just voted for her mostly. Of course, she was a woman, but she was really the lesser of two evils as well.
That's
Like,
right.
she
you
was
didn't
just-
want Trump, so it was like, nah, I might
Yeah.
as well just
Yeah,
go
vote for
Hillary.
her, right?
Yeah.
I'm not really tuned into politics like that. I know like the midterms are coming up in November. If you're in tune to that, like, please send me any information so we can get people to vote, so we don't get Trump back. But back to Kanye, again, I don't think he's smart. He's just a creative individual. I think you can have both, but I feel like you have less than what you're really gifted at. Like, I don't know. Like, LeBron James is really good at basketball, but I'm pretty sure he can't, like, he's not in tune with politics like that. He doesn't really, like,
Right.
he's not really, like, I don't know, knowledgeable, I guess, or he's not, like,
He speak up.
a
about
good
it, though.
cook. Like, you can't be mad good at basketball and like a fucking Bobby Flay chef. I feel
Why
like.
can't you?
You
could.
can,
You
but
can
like,
do that.
Of course you can.
yeah, but if you practice,
Multitask.
but like not like naturally, you know what I mean? Like,
Only takes 10,000 hours to master something.
very true.
Practice.
A man of your stature, Jeff. You know this.
Fuck Kanye
But-
West. That's my main point. Fuck, I don't like it,
Final thought.
Yes.
You don't like Kanye. We got it.
but I like the music. The person I don't like.
But
So.
you like the music.
Need some money.
That last album was really good. That Ye album, his album was really, like all the albums are trash, but Ye was a good album.
Wait, you think the life of Pablo was trash?
No, I'm talking about this other
Oh.
7-song albums that he dropped.
You liked it?
Yeah, his specifically. Everything else I didn't like. I didn't like Pushes. I didn't like Kid See Ghost.
What?
I didn't like Tiana. I didn't like.
What?
Who else dropped?
Stop.
Nas.
Those-
Just stop.
Nas.
No, sir.
Y'all want to
I-
get some music talk? Like,
I love
What you
Nas.
listen- what do you
albums.
like?
Yeah, what are you listening to
What
right
you
now?
listening to?
Who's your artist right now?
Introvert.
my favorite, like, hip hop or R&B.
Hip hop.
My favorite rapper right now is Joey Badass. My favorite album that dropped this year is Drake's album.
This is interesting.
My favorite R&B album. My favorite album overall that dropped this year is Kali Uchis' Isolation.
Okay, I'll give you that. I don't know many people who like
Oh.
Cali.
That's the best. That's the
I
best
like-
album so far for
What?
me. Like,
I'm gonna check it out tonight then.
I love
um,
Cali.
Listen, I got Cardi and Nicki right now. I'm supporting the ladies. Okay, we
You-
hear the ladies rapping.
you don't like that Nicki album.
I'm listening to it
You
right
like it,
now.
Chicks?
I'm going just like your boy Joe. I'm going step by step, checking out the songs.
Yeah, I
I
don't
like
like
it.
Nobody really likes that
I
album.
like it.
don't
Why
think.
not? It's entertaining.
What's your favorite album that dropped this year? If y'all have one?
So far, Nas.
Nicki, Cardi.
So far.
What's yours, Laney?
I think I just posted something about J Rock. I think
J-Rock.
I'm between J Rock, Nipsey, and J Cole, just because I'm like
Nipsey
always gonna
Hussle.
stand for J Cole. But
Oh,
Nas.
you're one of those. Okay.
Wait, excuse me. Which one of those?
JJ.
There's a certain
Uh-oh.
there's a certain group of people who just stand by J Cole no matter how boring he is, and it's crazy. It's really
I'm
crazy.
slow to come around to
Jeffrey.
J. Cole. Let me tell you, but Helena, I'm
Oh
sorry.
my God.
Helena.
You know, you
But
people-
and I was
people who
Yeah.
call-
Laney.
First of all,
like he's
Yeah.
lazy.
He's been
like,
on it for a
people who
long
call
time.
J Cole boring. I feel like
Uh-oh.
J like. I will give you certain things, like, because me and Henry have this argument all the time. And Henry is the one who put me on to J. Cole. I love
Shout
you,
out to
Henry.
Henry.
Shout out to Henry. He put me on to J. Cole, and he is a fan now who does be like, I listen to the album one day, I forget it the next day. I give y'all that. But I still do love J. Cole, and I always say, like, his mixtapes are better than, I will always love his mixtapes. So maybe that's what it is. I always love J. Cole because I remember the mixtapes. I remember the Come Up, the Warm Up. I still listen to the Come Up and the Warm Up. So
You know what I'll say about J Cole? The main reason I don't like him, not I like him, but like I think I put him
I feel
lesser
like people just
scale.
love to hate J. Cole.
No, because like it's too much of him. He produces all his beats. He does. It's
all right, I'll
too
give you
much
that.
of him.
Too
But then I feel
Because
like
he needs to, because like he
he
needs
needs to work well with other people.
Yeah, he's too
needs to show
introverted.
talent.
He's too
Yeah.
introverted.
And that's
What?
You know what? This is BS. Because for your podcast to be introverted intuition, then you want to sit here and say J. Cole is too introverted.
No,
you
but
admit it to yourself.
I'm
that
collaborating
J-
right now though.
Oh.
J. Cole don't collaborate.
There you go.
He
I got-
collaborates. Yes, he does. There's
When
it
the last
may
time you
be
did a
his-
feature with somebody?
he just
Crickets.
Did I was about to say something. I'm like, he just did a feature. But no, I give you that point because I do feel like J. Cole needs to work on other people's production because I know you can kill your own production. Like, I get it. You can smash every production. But can we get on somebody else's beat for once?
Yeah, please, like
Just for once.
something more like upbeat. So let's get back to y'all show right quick. Shake 'em Up podcast. How often do y'all record? Like every week, every 2 weeks?
Weekly.
We did it weekly. That's right. Every Sunday, and then we picked up the speed. After 6 episodes, we just did like Saturday, Sunday, every
Gotcha.
Sunday. You know, I'm trying to.
What's next for y'all? Like, what do y'all have? What's like an immediate goal? Like, or any in the future? Like live shows potentially. I guess that's like everybody's podcast goal, right?
The goal is to go live, to do more shows. Probably go to
Put more content out.
exactly create better content, right, Lainey?
More contact, better branding.
Have guests.
Have guests,
Hey.
yes,
Hey.
definitely.
We do have comedian came over, actors.
You know,
Yeah, I saw you had some big. I'm like, what are y'all doing that I'm not? How do y'all know these? Like, how'd you get the actors on? You just knew them personally?
It's because I'm a bartender, so I'm a senior bartender on a yacht country club for
Stunt.
like past 15 years. So I'm like I meet different celebrities, different friends that I went to school with. I stayed in touch. I asked them, listen, can we have a show? I got the 2 beautiful ladies with me. You gonna come
That's
see
a fact.
Lainey and Coco? They're like, yes, I'm gonna be there. So I tell a good friend of mine, Jason. Shout out to Jason Allmore from Punisher Netflix series. He's working on season 2 right now. He plays Curtis.
Cool.
He has one leg. He got beat by his leg. So
His character, yeah.
I got more friends coming over. So Shake 'em Up is more like Sometimes it shakes you all over the place. You're a little bit. You're a little off topic. I'm spiced. I get bored by one topic or one category. I gotta keep it moving. A little bit of sports, a
Right.
little bit of sex, entertainment, society, and culture. I gotta keep that joint moving, keeping it hot and sauce. Okay, if you listening to the drink back there, what the fuck you just say?
Word.
Yeah,
That's what I said that
you know?
multiple times.
I just
Multiple
put my
times.
nutsack right on top of the goddamn. Well, I'm not gonna put my nutsack on top of the table, but that's what I want to do. Keep it real. Like, what the fuck?
Okay, so this is we all met for the first time today, right? So this is
Yes.
like a blind date, blind podcast.
Very
so
good.
If y'all could take control right quick. Where do you want to go with this podcast?
What do you want to talk
I,
about?
I want to ask Jeff, how did you start this podcast? Why did you start this podcast, and when?
Okay, so I was really high.
Yeah, yes,
and-
light it.
Michael and I are actually just having a random conversation about just a film we saw at the time. And it was just such an animated conversation. I just felt like other people needed to hear it.
Yes.
And then I was like, I had the idea in my head. I was like, yeah, I want to do it. But then I procrastinated
Mm-hmm.
a
What
lot.
film was it though?
It's a film called Don's Plum. It's like it's like one of
It's an older film, yeah.
Yeah, it's in black and white. One of Leonardo DiCaprio's first movies when he was younger.
Okay.
But Michael and I
Heard
like
of it.
stand by that film. It's like a great film. And we were giving like a review to each other because it was the first time seeing it.
Very nice.
But yeah, I procrastinated and then eventually got off my ass and I bought a whole book, a big ass book on how to use Audacity.
Right.
And I did watched mad YouTube videos of like how to start it and how
Same
to set
here.
it up. And
Exactly.
here we are, people. For some reason like it. I don't know.
I started
what's up.
I started practice on Facebook, going live on Instagram, try to do it all by myself. It's pretty hard doing a podcast by yourself because you gotta keep
Ugh.
talking interests, good topics, good content. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I said, you know what? I need some beautiful ladies next to me. I can do like the Breakfast Club with all these guys. I need the honeys. They want to see all the beautiful girls. You want to see the topics. You want to see hot, trendy, shake them up. Am I talking your head off right now, Coco? Let me know.
Blah.
Just make
No,
laugh.
keep going.
I
Keep
love
going.
I love your energy, Shakespeare.
I'm sorry. Something's in my water. I don't know who put something in my water.
You have a great co-host. Mine is obviously not here, so he's pretty shitty right now. But
Aw.
I really like the dynamic of y'all show. Y'all really vibe really well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah, y'all really good. So I know
Which one's a good episode you like? If you listen to it, which episode?
the
you
most
like?
recent one. It was the
What it called?
Dickmatized.
Stigmatized.
And I actually had some questions.
Thank you. I told Coco.
It's one of the ones where I was quiet.
I don't know how far deep y'all want to get into like sex talk. I mean, I have questions. Like, is like the main part of the sex talk, point of the sex talk to like educate, or is it just to bullshit?
Both. I feel like it's to educate because some people,
To share your experience. Let them
Yeah.
know, make sure you won't do the same mistake I've done. You know what I mean? So if you're thinking about it, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna jump into this fucking goddamn pool with all these girls, but hold up, you gotta think about the consequences.
Word.
There's some stuff flying in the goddamn water. There's a different color over here. What's going on here? I gotta think before I jump in this pool.
Word.
You know what I mean? But am I? Yeah, I'm kind of saucy.
make
I
them
think.
taste themselves. That's
What?
that's
Tiger taste? Okay.
Yeah. If she ain't gonna taste herself, then you don't need to taste her. You don't need to be nowhere near the girl.
You know
okay?
what?
She needs
You
to go.
absolutely right, Lenny. I go like this. I gotta listen. Taste the
Be like,
product.
I just got educated. How about
Like
that?
Get a
if you
sample.
gotta do it sexually, just rub it down.
let you taste your product. If you taste yourself good, that means I'm about to munch all night.
Now I learned something. I just got
Okay.
educated. See?
Okay,
Every
very good.
episode.
Yeah,
Share
pretty good.
information. That's how it works.
Okay. So, okay. Before going into the sex talk,
Yes.
Before.
what is?
Oh.
Yeah, we gotta ease the way in.
Okay.
Yeah,
Foreplay.
he-
Foreplay. What was your longest relationship? If you're still in it right now, or if you're not in it, like what was the longest
Funny.
relationship you ever had?
Hmm.
Mm,
Interesting, Jeff.
the longest, probably with my daughter's dad was the longest continuous relationship that I had.
Yeah, y'all can't remember. Is that long ago?
18 years. I'm still in that relationship, so
They
it's
still
awesome.
together.
18 years. Shout out to
Black
her,
love.
Big D.
I can't forget
Shut
you in your
up.
relationship. You don't talk like it.
Huh?
So I'm very confused right now.
Well, you know, I'm very mysterious. I move like a ninja.
You don't seem mysterious either. Like you seem really open.
Listen, I was.
Perception.
But he does respect his lady. He
I,
does.
listen, I
Very
love the
respectful.
ladies, but I gotta be respectful. 18 years.
Wow, it's a blessing.
She's my partner. You know what I mean. So when you guys could rock together on everything, and then you leave her, and then you try to find someone else, like hold up, that's a lower grade. I just went left when I was right already. You know what I'm saying? I had the right girl right here.
Mm.
And then I'm going to say, let me try some other pretty girls with big booties, nice titties. Ooh. And then next later, she don't, the pretty girl don't really worry about me eating when I'm hungry. She don't care if, if anything rolled up. There's no chicken. There's no spaghetti. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, she's here, try to take my money, pay for all the goddamn date. So I got to ride or die. Shout out to her.
How did y'all meet?
We met in Brooklyn College, matter of fact. I used to go to Brooklyn College.
What'd you study?
TV radio.
Oh, here you are now.
That's
Okay.
right.
Wow.
So I'm living that dream right now,
That's
brother.
dope.
You only live once, right? So you gotta live it.
It's a fact. So I asked about the length of the relationship because I feel like at certain points in the relationship, maybe 2 years in, 3 years in, you may have to change things up sexually, physically. Maybe even a year in, honestly, if you really can't vibe with the person.
Jeff, that's a great question, Jeff.
So
I didn't even get to answer, but that is
Oh.
very
Really?
true because I have like a 2 year. That I don't know. After 2 years, I just get single. Like it's like 2.5 years, and it's just like, no, this isn't gonna work.
Or you lose interest.
I don't know. I don't know what happens, but I do have a 2 year curse. I know that it's like 2.5 years. Like it doesn't go past that.
Wow.
So are you single now? Or are you,
Yeah.
Oh, ouch.
Ouch.
Jeff, what?
No, I mean like ouch to the guy,
you
like 'cause
smooth,
no, the guy,
Jeff.
no, the guy, like the last guy, he didn't know. He didn't know the time limit. I feel
No,
bad.
she.
Oh, she. I'm sorry.
I don't know. Shit happens. But I know I have a 2.5 year limit. I know that.
Thus far,
I
that
mean,
can change.
I've been doing that long. That's been a strong,
I know.
strong
But-
number. But I'm okay with that. I'm not sad. Trust me.
So like, if the sex is like bad one time, are y'all out, or do you work with the person and then give them tips, pointers?
I have bad sex.
You gotta work though. I think it helps. It depends on the level of care you have for that person. Like, you know what, I care for you.
Talk to your
Let's-
partner.
Yeah.
Communication.
Yeah.
It's a major key.
If you don't care for that person, it's just to get it popping. Then you're like, moving on.
Right.
They'll figure it out.
It's just stopping by.
Depends on the care you have for that person.
If you care for them, right?
You said stopping by. You said
Just stopping by. Thank you.
I was just stopping by real quick.
I came for some head, and now it's time for you to head out.
18 years, everybody.
Laney.
Cause like I always hear like guys say like they try to blame the women when it's bad. It's like, oh, her pussy's bad. I'm just like, nah, I don't think you're doing your part.
I mean, I don't know.
I think it's a collaborative effort. So like, someone's
It is.
not like put in the work, then it's gonna turn out
there's
bad.
bad pussy, there's bad penis.
We say the
like,
guys are faking.
That's true too.
So
I don't think there's such thing as bad pussy. Cause like
I mean,
the feeling is always gonna be present. I feel like for a girl, it'd be different. Like a bad penis, cause it's small, you're not gonna get much.
That's not
True,
true.
but I've
That's
heard
not. I
stories
don't think
now.
that's
Yeah, I've
true.
heard
Yeah.
stories.
I don't know. I've never
Like,
taken a penis, so I don't know. So maybe y'all give more insight.
I don't think that's true because I think I've had like years ago, I had like really great sex with somebody who was like 2.5 inches.
What?
What?
it's
I
possible.
heard that before.
And it
too,
was
my
like
girl.
amazing.
Because I heard they take time out to please you, make sure you come again and again and again. Am I,
But
am I
they're
right?
they're maybe just innovative.
Yeah, I think so. It's not about what is it? I don't know.
But the
slang
size,
no
right?
more, yeah. 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't really,
She's funny.
it's different
She
now.
said, I don't know.
If you have a 2-inch penis, you gotta be creative. Honestly,
Yeah.
like you gotta make.
It was good. It was great. That's
Wow.
what I will say. Shout out to Haiti.
What?
Hey.
What? Hey, sac passé, shit.
I feel like between the three of you, I feel like you're the most addicted to sex. 'Cause I feel like you're the first one to bring it up. Like, do you think you are?
Listen, I am a super freak, okay? I got to bring it up to the ladies. I want to know what they thinking. This is why we have a game called P the Fifth. Sometimes I ask them the real crazy question, like, listen,
You got one now?
I sure do, but I don't know if is this PG or is it, we keep it.
It's rated R. Let's go.
Exactly.
Plead the fifth.
She already pleaded already.
I plead the
She
fifth.
plead the fifth. Because, if you're with your lady, I try my best, I say, listen, instead of me taking out my shorts and whip out my cock, I got to take my time, talk to her nice, touch her soft, right? Touch her little tetas.
Put some
right?
music on.
Exactly. I like little,
Get
you know what?
some.
Have a
Get
nice
some. What is
sense in
this?
the
Ca-
background.
I mean,
compo?
I put R. Kelly on. Is that am I wrong? Put a little R. Kelly? Cause
That's very wrong.
You ready to argue me? God damn, I should put
Yeah.
Color Me Bad. You guys listen to Color Me Bad? Remember Color Me Bad?
Yeah.
Ooh, boom. That's when I went right down to the goddamn Toto. Oh my gosh. I'd be in that Toto for half an hour to an hour. Guess what happened after I ate it for half an hour, Tiger. I got a goddamn LeBron James sneakers.
You
The
are
next few days,
stupid.
okay?
You guys
So
sneakers.
stupid.
She take care of the kid,
Stupid.
all right? Because I munch. I'm a muncher. That's why they call me Mr. Fastest Tongue and Flatbush.
Who calls you that?
Okay, the
You?
ladies.
calls
I've been trying to figure that out. For
All
a
the
while.
ladies.
you just call yourself that.
Listen, all the ladies. Everybody, okay, I'm all up on it. Okay, so this is what I do.
Heard you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Okay, that was.
Thank
I'm a
you for
wild
expressing
boy.
yourself there.
Right. Plead the
Wild boy.
fifth. Plead the fifth.
Thank you.
No question.
Let's get back into topics a little bit.
Very good.
There's some very dark shit going on in the world. I'm not sure if y'all ready to hear this.
Oh.
So in Pennsylvania, for about 50 years, the Catholic Church was protecting 300 priests who were secretly child molesters.
Oh no.
And they were like filming like child porn at the church and stuff
Jeff,
like that.
You're a dark.
No, it's
guy.
really dark, but it's like it's really awkward to bring that up just when we were just talking about.
You gotta talk about
Something pleasurable to something awful.
Yeah,
Right.
It's just really about spreading awareness. You know what I mean? So
It's true.
this shit's weird.
It's like it's like a setup though. You can't, these men can't see no women, and you put these kids around them. It's like a setup for failure. Like what the hell's going on? Like why they can't date? Why they have a chastity belt down there?
Okay, before I say what I'm about to say, are y'all religious at all?
I was raised Catholic. I'm not per se religious. I'm spiritual, but I'm not
Religious.
You don't you identify you like believe in God and
Oh, definitely.
Definitely.
oh yeah, okay. So I just think church, maybe religion in general is just a big ass scam because I learned that priests recently, like when they get the collection plates and all, that's not tax money. That's tax free. And when I learned that, I think that was like the weirdest, the scariest shit actually, because they're just promoting all this rhetoric just to get some money. They don't have to pay any taxes on it. I've just recently just started to look at religion a little bit differently. Like
Church gets certain special treatment from state. So people always say like church and state is separate, but it's not. It's all in one bed. So be skeptical of church or religion.
I haven't been in a few years. This makes me not want to go back like a bit more, honestly. Like
You can go to a non-denominational church, or
yeah, but I don't know what's really going on. It just makes me. I'm naturally a paranoid person, and I question everything. So
you should. It's good.
seeing
What
things
is your
like that.
birthday?
I'm a Libra, October 17th.
Okay.
What was that?
I mean,
Signs. Just want
to know.
Sorry, Shakes.
I don't trust that. What do you
No,
really?
Oh my God, the paranoia.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the paranoia, see?
You just like knowing about the signs, just to
Yeah.
What
to
are
get
y'all
a better
signs?
understanding. I'm a Cancer.
Virgo.
Maybe.
Leo.
Oh, this is a
Leo season.
weird mix.
Why? It's
Between
a
y-
diverse little mix here.
Yeah, but I don't know. I guess y'all do clash. At
Yeah, we do
times, so
clash.
And then it also depends on what side of the sign you fall.
Very true.
You know?
I don't know too much about Leos, but I didn't hear you say you were.
No, I was gonna say anything.
No,
you're
your
a
sign.
Virgo.
Oh, Virgo.
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 Okay, gotcha.
Leo's like to be the king of the jungle. He likes to take control sometimes, but sometimes you clashes from different signs.
You have a lot of nicknames and self-given. I feel, but
Jeff, you are my dude, Jeff. Shout out to you, brother.
yo, I swear you make a lot of money as a bartender. Like, you can't tell me any different, yo.
We're gonna talk about that later, right now. But I don't want nobody to come after me for anything. But they call me Mr. Fastest Tongue, as you know.
Oh, Jesus. Let's get back to the topic.
They call me Rock Eye. And Shakespeare too. I'm gonna leave it at that.
But yeah, like the priests are known to be like the closest one to God. Like some families, they even tell their kids to listen to what the priest says over what they say. And you got these fucking 300 priests molesting children in the basement. It's just
Jesus.
it's the weirdest shit. And
those children now have grown
Scars.
and have had children and moved on in their lives with a lot of issues.
I mean, if they made it that far, like their innocence is
Exactly.
completely is gone, and they may not even made it. And they may have maybe suicide.
Can therapy help?
Crazy.
Well, my experiences with therapy helped me.
Right.
I'm experienced depression, anxiety a lot. It helped me, but
Right.
something as intense as that, I don't know.
Right.
Y'all haven't experienced therapy at all, or
No.
do y'all suffer from depression, anxiety, all that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it happens in my family. So
I feel
I
like as in the
understand.
black community, we don't really speak about that. How to deal with that? How do y'all deal with it when y'all get in those moments?
It's definitely difficult.
it's heavy,
yeah.
right? It's a tough
perfect
situation,
way to say it. It's heavy.
When you see a family member going through mentally ill, it's a hard situation, And it's easy to say, okay, boom, take your medicine, but we don't know what really they're going through, And then sometimes it's hard to sit down and talk to that person, until you get help, get therapy, taking medicine. Um,
Being willing to get the help. Yeah.
really, once again, like I said, good communication. Really know what's wrong, what's the matter. If you can't really talk to somebody, who can you talk to, right?
Mm.
So I take mentally ill very seriously as well.
It's
So-
funny, like with anxiety, at least for me personally, like I would just get anxious over nothing. Like I would just be looking out the window, I just start like feeling anxious. So like it's hard to like talk about that when you yourself don't even know what's wrong. And one thing I kind of do try to push on this podcast is like to just talk to people and just, I mean, even if it's behind a microphone, just talk and express yourself and vent when you can, because that shit could really kill you. Like it almost did for certain people. You don't suffer from that at all? Depression? Oh, you do?
Yeah, I suffer from depression, anxiety. Actually, I go to therapy. My mom has put me in. I've been in therapy since I was a kid, so yeah.
What is it like? What has that experience been like for you, therapy?
When I was in therapy as a kid, it was the weirdest thing because I did not know I was in freaking therapy. Like I was so pissed off when I was 21. I realized this bitch had me in therapy.
Wow.
Because it was just like, you think you're going somewhere. I just thought it was free time outside the classroom. No idea. It was just like a whole therapy session.
Absolutely.
But it was things like I think I lost my mom when I was really young. So my mother put me in therapy just to kind of deal with that. But I didn't deal with it as a kid because I didn't know what to deal with.
Right.
It was deaf. It was just like, okay, I didn't know the lady, so why am I? And then when I was like 21, I had like a whole big anxiety and depression thing going on because of that, not dealing with something when I was 8, because I didn't understand it when I was 8. So, but it's an everyday thing. Like I feel like you have to choose to be happy when you wake up. Sometimes you just have to stay in your bed for extra 30 minutes and reprogram your mind and be like, you know what, today's gonna be good. I got this today. Like we ain't gonna have no problems. We just gonna get through the day. X.
Do what you can, shake it
Do
up,
what you
shake it
can,
up a
shake it
bit.
off. Yeah,
That's
like,
right.
You know what I
Shake 'em
mean?
up.
and always tell yourself, forgive yourself. I feel like a lot of people who do suffer from depression, anxiety, they hold on to things that they never forgiven themselves for, forgiving other people for. Forgiveness is key to a lot of things.
Love yourself.
Love yourself, definitely, and just move forward. It's easier said than done because you're going to have your moments, you're going to have your days, you're going to be battles. But love yourself, forgive everybody who hurt you, and forgive yourself and keep pushing.
That's beautiful.
That's
Man.
awesome.
And let's not forget God,
sure.
because whether you believe in it and the way you believe in it, but God is there.
Absolutely, the Most High.
God is
I
in
believe
you,
that.
so
Talk to him anytime.
anytime.
And there's too many examples of negativity and hate in this world, and it's hard to persevere through that and ignore that at times. But you have to just really just stand on your own 2 feet and
You
just.
do.
And some days you're gonna have shitty ass days, man.
Mhm.
Some days you ain't gonna want to deal with it. But if that's the case, that happens. Try your best
Push
as much as you
yourself, right?
can. That next day
Keep pushing.
to whatever it is, move a little bit differently to not allow yourself to fall back and to fall back, but push yourself forward. And it's not easy.
It's not.
The slightest thing could trigger you, but that's when we gotta realize too,
Know your
something.
triggers. Know your triggers.
Yo, you
Know
you
what
get
triggers.
on my
Yeah.
head lately.
Know what triggers you. Because
Laney's in my head.
you know what triggers you, then you know how to. Once you know what triggers you, you have to ask yourself why it triggers you. Get down to the root of that problem, and then you're gonna be like, all right. Because a lot of shit sometimes is just made up fear in your head about nothing.
Wow.
Yeah, it's about separating your thoughts
Yep.
from that fear, right?
Yep, and the outcome of things. Like, I find myself, like, it's things that I want to do, I want to accomplish. I'm like, oh, I can't do it. And the minute I be like, you know what, fuck it. Just do it.
Right.
You feel like a lot, that little block of anxiety, depression you had is gone because that was the one thing that was kind of holding you back, that fear of not being able to do something. Once you just started doing it, everything dissolves.
Word.
So,
It's funny, going back to when you asked me about how we started this podcast, and
Right.
I was actually very fearful of doing this because I don't really care for other people's opinions, but I knew if we got popular enough, I would get to plenty of people's opinions on just maybe how I look or what I'm saying.
Yes.
And I was very hesitant about that because I don't enjoy that. I don't enjoy being judged. And but I just eventually got to the point where it's like, fuck it, I'm with my friend.
Right.
Whoever likes it, whoever doesn't, and here we are, you know what I mean? So
I like that mentality.
did y'all have any hesitation before going into starting the Shake 'em Up podcast?
Oh yeah.
Not in terms of like, I guess.
No, just being an introvert, not how many times she expected to say, "Speaking to the mic, Kim. Speaking to the mic."
Speaking to them right.
I mean, Coco. Keep saying everybody's real name.
You know?
Cut it
Stop
out.
telling.
Stop telling.
Snitching.
But yeah, every week I had to talk to myself, like, okay, don't let this anxiety get to you. Like, you got this.
It's
you
just
know?
an hour.
It's just an hour. We're gonna get through it. But just the anticipation, like,
Exactly.
oh my God, I can.
I
say
love my
something
team.
and-
We have 15 episodes. After the 7th one, we kept going smoothly. You guys hang with me. We got our sweet spots. We got more hot show coming. It's gonna be like OMG.
You want to give any teasers, or you just gonna just that's it?
No,
No
yet. No teasers yet. No teasers.
Okay, my
but stuff's
bad.
coming. You're gonna be the first one to get it though, cause
Cool.
a man of your stature needs to get a little.
A
snippet.
man, what is a man? Who am I? What am I like?
You are Jeffrey. That's who you are.
Gotcha.
So
Thank
gotta
you.
make sure.
But it's kind of funny that you asked that question because I think before I started this show, I actually was recording YouTube videos for 2 years.
Is that right, Lady?
Behind the
And-
camera, or
and
you
never
filming?
No, behind the camera, I was doing the topic of just women, lesbians of color in New York.
Nice.
And not one video was put up, but they're all on my camera and my computer just saved.
We're gonna talk. We're gonna make some things happen then.
There you go.
Yeah, will you
Yes.
put them up?
No, I don't
No,
think
get
so.
some web series. No, get some
No,
popping.
You don't think other black girls who lesbians who need to hear what you have to say?
I'm sure, and this is because I am working on my blog right now because I've planned to debut my blog on my birthday in September. So, and that's why I changed my because you asked me why I changed my Instagram name because
Okay.
everything is changing. But
Very good.
those videos, I don't know because I was looking at it the other day on my computer, my laptop, and I was just like, I look so cute, but I'm okay. Like I just no, I feel like at that point in my life I was going through something different with something different going on.
Right.
I did the videos. I wanted to release them, but I was just so scared of people's opinion and putting it out there.
We need a story. You have a story then. You have a good story.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen. Hey.
Bonus episodes.
Huh?
Oh yeah, put up the video for the podcast and then put up a video right
Oh,
after.
Oh,
Absolutely.
look at that.
Yeah.
She's like,
It's like,
That's
nah.
what so
Can't
shakes
do
nothing.
it.
She's like, next topic, next topic.
But I just
Do
said
it.
that to say like I've been thinking about doing this for a while. I just never been able to like pull the plug on it or plug the plug in.
I'm the plug.
You're the
Yeah.
plug.
I'm the plug. Let's make
Coco
it
was the plug to.
Coco.
See?
Shake.
See how things work out?
No, that's exactly what it is. 2018.
I appreciate y'all for coming on. Honestly,
Thank you for having us.
I've reached out to a lot of shows, and then, like y'all, the second show to actually reach out. I mean, besides Lee,
Mhm.
excluding her, there was like another show.
Shout out to Lee.
Yeah, shout out to Good Looking
Thank
Lee.
you.
Thank Me Later
I don't
podcast.
give shout out, you know what I mean? Yes.
Introverted Intuition podcast episode
Okay.
coming soon. You know what I mean?
All right. Oh, okay. Shout out
That's
to you.
right.
Okay.
Anything y'all want to shout out? Any social medias? Of course, the podcast, but anything particularly y'all want to shout out?
I go first. You know, I want everybody out there, introvert fans and audience and listeners, to go check Shake Them Up podcast on iTunes, iHeart, and Spotify. Those are 3 things I like. So that's what I got to say. Promote my show. Thank you, Jeffrey, for inviting me, Shakespeare Michael Thomas, Mr. Fastest Tongue in Flatbush. I got to let everybody know this.
Lainey?
Thank you for having us, Jeff. I really appreciate being here. So
course.
that's,
Y'all
that's
definitely
my
get-
shout out. So shout out to you for having us. Thank you. I
Yes.
appreciate
Yes,
it.
Thank you
sir.
for coming.
Yes.
Y'all could definitely come back anytime if y'all
Aw,
y'all want.
thank you.
If y'all enjoyed yourself.
Yes.
Maybe Michael will
Okay.
be here next
Yes,
time.
we'll
You
have-
fucking asshole.
We could do a redo, not a redo.
Michael,
but
where
like,
are
yeah.
you?
Part 2.
I know.
1.5.
Right.
We can berate him for not being here.
We're going
the
to put you
first
in a
time.
dungeon.
And give him the most awkward of sex questions.
Yes, that would be fun.
Word. I'm glad y'all didn't give me them alone because I probably wouldn't be able to handle it.
Oh,
Right.
you
Um,
would have.
You wasn't
we
ready.
go.
You wasn't ready.
Nah, I
today.
wasn't. I'm
We
scared. I was
can sense the
nervous.
energy. Yeah, we can
was
sense
ner-
the energy.
Oh, ask me a question right now. I'll answer it right now.
Go
Go ahead.
I don't have any questions.
Oh, now you don't have any questions.
I don't. I can't. You know,
Save it for
sex
the next
is not
one.
on
Save it
my
for the next
mind.
one.
Because remember our last show, we
Mhm.
had I was doing the 30-day.
30-day
Cleanse.
30-day cleanse.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
I
Do you eat
failed.
ass? You want to know? Do you eat ass, Jeff?
Fuck
This
no,
was-
nah.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. No,
You gotta
no
eat that.
ass.
You got to eat
He
that
didn't
ass.
No
even
butt
let the
play.
question
Listen.
sit.
No.
Okay, I go
no.
right in
Nope.
there.
No,
This
thank
is-
you.
So you've never ate it from the back and like by accident like put your nose in it?
Yeah, by accident I had, but I've never purposely
Be
like put my tongue there or thought about putting my, not even my finger, honestly.
Swirl up all
No,
up
no
in there.
thumb in the butt, no none of that. Nope.
What?
I know you.
So that's never come up. I know you're in a relationship. That's never come up in your
No,
relationship?
never.
Really?
Yeah.
What? Jeffrey?
Never
Wow.
requested.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
As time goes through, you guys are going to learn each other and talk and say, you know what, let's go to the next step.
How old are you, Jeff?
Sometimes
Like,
you
I'm
don't
20
want to go to the
26.
next
You're
step.
26.
Yeah, going on 27.
A
next
youngster.
October. Yeah, but like we've been together for almost 2 years, so
Okay.
I think I have a good idea of what she likes, and I know that's not it. I'm glad that's not it.
Okay.
You go right to work.
Yeah.
Very
That
good.
works.
So
Know your limits. That's all.
Yeah, know your
It's a
limits.
fact.
That's one thing people know your limits.
know yourself. Know
Know
what you
yourself.
like.
Know what you
Yeah.
like.
Shake 'em up.
Shake 'em Up podcast. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.